From the air, football pitches look so peaceful. Places where people gather to run, kick, sweat, laugh and drink, shout and fight. Every week somewhere, punches are thrown between fans and players of opposing teams. Big dreams are shared and fought over on these pitches. But on the 29th of May 1985, those dreams turned into a deadly nightmare. And this stadium in Belgium, since rebuilt, became a battlefield. Three-quarters of an hour before the European Cup Final between Liverpool and Juventus, broadcast live all over Europe, 38 fans were trampled to death in a corner of the terraces called Block Z. A 39th victim died in hospital 3 months later. The majority of the people who died were Italian. 2 were French, 4 Belgian, 1 came from Northern Ireland. But the fact that close to 40 fans had lost their lives was not enough to stop the match going ahead. Within little more than 2 hours of the deaths, the 1985 European Cup Final was played regardless. Tonight, we return to Heysel, where choices were made that still haunt people 20 years on. Mrs. Martelli lost her son Franco at Heysel. For 20 years she's been visiting his grave every day. Franco and his mother both loved football, and so she's tried to keep that love alive.
We don't go to watch football matches anymore, mostly because at my age I couldn't cope with being in the middle of all those people in the stadium. When I watch the game on TV, I'm always nervous. Then when I see them score, I cheer. I'm all happy. It's as if I were Franco. He's always with me. Who knows what he'd do now when Juventus scores. When they lose, I'm sad.
3 years after the tragedy, there was a trial to establish who was responsible for the deaths of 39 people. In the end, a Belgian gendarmerie officer and 2 of the organisers were convicted, but the main culprits, it was decided, were 14 Englishmen. Terry Wilson, now a swimming pool lifeguard, received one of the heaviest sentences, 5 years in prison for manslaughter.
I was working in the fruit market at the time, so I was starting work at 2 o'clock in the morning, and about 7 o'clock, policemen came in. I was on my forklift, and policemen came in and approached me and were like, are you Terry Wilson? I was like, yeah. And he came up to me and said, we're arresting you for the manslaughter of Mario Ronchi and 38 others. And to be honest, I just laughed at them. I was like, oh, don't be stupid. Manslaughter? All I did was run over, throw a few fists, help our fans out, and manslaughter.
Today, Terry Wilson is a born-again Christian. He's made it his mission to stop others making the mistakes he made.
Name's Terry. Nice one. Thanks very much for coming. You all look lovely. What I'm going to do first, okay, is just tell you a little story out of the Bible. And what I'm going to do is bring my life into it.
Terry served 9 months of his 5-year sentence for manslaughter. 20 years on, he feels he's found his forgiveness.
Jesus went to the Mount of Olives. The teachers of the law and the Pharisees brought in a woman caught in adultery. In the law, Moses commands us to stone such women. Jesus bent down and started to write on the ground with his finger. If any of you is without sin, let him be the first to throw a stone at her.
In total, 39 people died at the Heysel. Among them were 2 postmen, 2 cooks, 3 doctors, 4 students, 1 car mechanic, a soldier, a schoolboy, a school janitor, a farmer, a taxi driver, several shopkeepers, a fashion photographer, and a builder, Domenico, the cousin of these 2 builders in Milan. Armando and Danilo Ragazzi were in their early 20s when they went to Heysel. They loved Juventus, as did their cousin Domenico.
From the moment I was born and learned that a football was black and white, I've been black and white.
Black and white are the colours of Juventus, which has supporters all over Italy. Armando Ragazzi's son Gianpaolo dreams of becoming the next Juventus goalkeeper. In '85, Stefano Tacconi was the Juventus goalkeeper. The evening badly scarred him, but he too once had big dreams about football.
I spent my childhood with friends running around in a field. And even then I was passionate about football because my older brothers played. And of course, whatever they did, I had to do.
My son's even worse than me. He even cries. I've never cried. He cries whenever they lose.
Once Juventus reached the final, our minds were made up. There was no question about it. We had to go. That was that.
There might have been 20 of us. Everyone was saying, I'm going to go. In the end, to be safe, I bought 4 tickets.
Everyone said, I want to go, I want to go.
I came back to the village and the only people I could find to come were Armando and Danilo. I couldn't find anyone to take the 4th ticket.
We went to the bar and along came my cousin, Domenico.
20 years after the tragedy, the 3 builders have agreed to return to Brussels. Taking Domenico's place is Armando's goalkeeping son, Gianpaolo.
It was a fantastic journey, even though we got hopelessly lost in the middle of Germany. We had no idea how to order boiled eggs. We ended up drawing a chicken on the table.
From all over Europe, fans travelled to Brussels to see Juventus and Liverpool play for the 1985 European Cup. 60,000 people. 60,000 individual stories, some of which we retrace tonight. Terry Wilson agreed to travel back, as did British Transport Police officer Ian McGregor.
At that time, I was the Assistant Chief Constable in the British Transport Police. It was my responsibility to ensure that on all continental football matches, that all information and intelligence was passed to the relevant police forces, consulates, and other agencies abroad. I have got to be honest to say I had no concerns. The shipping companies and the captains were most helpful, and indeed they controlled the bars and ensured that there was no alcohol sold on the ships. We had full policing powers until such time as the ferry docked. We then became private citizens. We took our uniforms off, we put them in a bag, and we travelled forward on the special trains in plain clothes.
From that moment onwards, if something happened, Ian McGregor was going to have to act without any official policing powers. It was early in the morning of Wednesday, the 29th of May, 1985. Former karate champion Tony Chin was the Liverpool Football Club bodyguard. This is the hotel his team stayed in. 20 years on, Tony Chin and Bruce Grobbelaar found its rooms and corridors unchanged. Liverpool felt relaxed. The year before, in 1984, the club had played the European Cup Final as well. Bruce Grobbelaar played a defining role in the penalty shootout that decided the game.
There's our friend Bruce Grobbelaar again. Grobbelaar, antics on the line.
Do you think that generally distracted him?
I think so. Good boy.
Yeah, well, it didn't it, obviously.
So Liverpool 3-2 up.
Liverpool are European champions! What joy!
After the cup was won, I was given the cup, taken back to the hotel, and locked in the room. I opened the bathroom door, put the cup down, had a full shower, looking at the cup.
The cup is about the same size as Tony as well.
It was electrifying, you know, the European Cup in my hands.
I just remember when we got back to Liverpool, back to the airport, doors came open and off we came with the cup. It was surreal, really, because there were thousands and thousands of supporters all sort of waiting for us and cheering and everything, and we're all sort of coming off, stumbling off and saying, oh, just pretend you're not drunk and all that kind of thing. But we were, to a man, woman, child, well, not to a child, obviously, but we were all completely drunk. And not just drunk on alcohol, drunk on sort of life, success, victory, you name it.
The European Cup is the biggest trophy any club team can win, and Liverpool had won it several times. Their opponents in 1985, Juventus, never.
We'd won the UEFA Cup 2 or 3 times and the Cup Winners' Cup about the same number of times. But that one was missing from the club's trophy cabinet, from Juventus's CV.
Armando, Danilo, Guido and Domenico drove all night from Italy to Brussels, and they started their day with breakfast in a cafe opposite the Heysel Stadium. They were full of confidence.
All day long in the run-up to the game, we were talking about what might happen, who would win, who would score, would so-and-so score, would Platini score.
Anyone can lose, but we were the much better team.
Yeah, there was the odd drunk fan, but there were Italians drinking too. We were all playing football together, swapping our scarves and pennants.
I swapped my scarf. I gave mine to a Liverpool fan and he gave me his.
We'd said, don't worry if you can't call, we'll understand. But he did call. It was the last time I ever spoke to him. He told us that he'd got to know lots of Liverpool fans. He'd made friends with them. He told us that they were really nice guys.